Welcome to the creative brain of Dean Hawk. Get ready to be challenged, inspired, and equipped to become a better ministry leader.
Hey, Merry Christmas to everyone. It is our December podcast. My name is Dean. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to remind you to check out deanhawk.com, all of our free resources. We are just finishing up the series on the book of James, and I just want to encourage you. It'll be on deanhawk.com here by the first week or two of January. And I think it'd be a great sermon series for you to target and put into your calendar, preaching calendar for 2025. Hey, we want to jump right in today, and I want to talk about something that I don't know if you guys do. We face it regularly. I wouldn't say daily, weekly, but often we are getting what I'm terming customer complaints. And so today I want to talk about dealing with customer complaints and basically our church members or dissatisfied church members. And a book I want to really encourage you to read, if you're watching on video, you can see it. It's called Excellence Wins by Horst Schulze, and he is the founder of Ritz-Carlton. And he does a whole book on all aspects of customer service, and he touches on the complaint department in one of the chapters. But I just want to hit some elements that I think can assist you and your team. It'd be a great podcast for you and your team to sit down and listen to together. This could be everything from somebody approaching you in the church lobby. Often I have found it's an email. That is, people are a lot bolder, a lot brassier in an email, and they can let off, I think, a little more frustration than typically they do in person. But how do we handle those complaints with grace? And that can lead to hopefully a renewed trust and growth and building a stronger community relationship. And so handling criticism constructively as a leader is crucial. And the first thing I would say that you are going to be prone to do, I'm just telling you, I do it, you do it, I do it in my marriage and relationship, is every one of us, I think it's part of our DNA, but we are born to defend. And here's what I would tell you. When somebody has a complaint, a problem, an issue, please, please, please avoid being defensive. And so that is the big one. Secondly, and handling it constructively is make opportunity for personal reflection and prayer. That pray and reflect on what the feedback that was given, seeking God and asking His guidance to remain humble and open. And what can I learn from this? How can I grow? I'll never forget, our church was maybe 6 months old, and I had a retired Assembly of God pastor that was a part of our church family, and I preached a message. And after the crowd had dissipated, he pulled me aside and he put his arm around me and he said, Pastor, he said, I sensed, I'm trying to remember the words he used, but he basically said, Pastor, I sensed there was some anger in your words today. Are you hurt or wounded? And he named the area that I had been teaching upon. And my first reaction was be defensive. No, not me. I'm good. And I stopped and I pondered and I reflected. And I said, you know what, bud? I think you're right. I don't think I did it intentionally or knowingly, but I think I communicated that out of a wrong heart and I communicated out of my own woundedness, and I communicated out of a hurt. And that was a great time and opportunity for me in my pastoral career to realize that there are people that are there to help me, and there are people there who are there to hurt me. And so we need to distinguish between constructive criticism or destructive criticism. One wants to help you, the other wants to hurt you. And so we need to develop that discernment to recognize, is this helpful feedback or is this overly critical and negative comments? And so we need to let it go when we get a negative comment. Because I don't know about you, I can have 15 people give me a positive comment and somebody will give me one negative one, and I don't focus on the 15 good ones. I tend to focus on the one bad one. We need to be careful what we give our time and attention to. And then we need to build a culture of openness. I want to foster an environment where feedback is welcomed and that people feel safe to express those concerns respectfully. You would say, well, what creates that? That word will get around, hey, I went and talked to pastor. I went and talked to the executive pastor. I went and talked to the worship pastor, whoever it is on your team. I went and talked to a board member and I expressed my concerns and I expressed, my feelings towards that situation. And they really listened and they really cared what I had to say. And well, did the situation change? No, but I felt like they really listened to me, and we'll get into some of the specific steps that will help you process through that. But I want that environment because I know that I need to be teachable, and I know that I'm not perfect, and that I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm not always going to see them, and I need to empower people to help me grow and be a better person, believer, follower of Christ, and leader in the kingdom of heaven. All right. Some key scripture thoughts to keep in mind would be Proverbs 15:1 that says, a gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare. In James 1:19, it says, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters, you must be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. I believe often we're so quick to want to speak and share our opinion or give our response. Let's be quick to listen and slow to speak. And then I love Ephesians 4:2 that says, always be humble and gentle. Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. We're going to approach these complaints with love, and we're going to love people through some of the negativity that we're about to receive. So how do we respond when people complain? Some of the common reasons that people complain is for dissatisfaction. There's unrealized expectations. There's misunderstandings. They feel undervalued. There's unmet needs. I can think of in the last year, a young woman came to me and she's on the worship team. And she's like, Pastor Dean, I want to lead. I think I'm ready to lead a song. And I don't, and I'll go through the steps on responding. But here's what comes out to me in that situation. I don't decide, and I have nothing to do with who leads a song. That's Pastor Scott's job, and that's Pastor Scott's expertise. And so what I made sure in that situation is I said, I hear you, but then I directed her back to Pastor Scott. He's the one you need to talk with. But I acknowledged her feelings. I'm sorry you're feeling overlooked. I'm sorry that you're frustrated. And we're acknowledging that we're hearing them, and we're acknowledging that that wound is there. One of the wrong things we can do is, you shouldn't be hurt about that. Why are you upset about that? No, they want to be seen. People, two biggest needs of people, they want to be seen and they want to be heard. And so then we need to dig for what is the real issue underneath the complaint. You see, often complaints are symptoms of a deeper emotional, spiritual, mental, or physical need. People may feel unseen, unheard. They feel disconnected. They want to be heard. They want to express their dissatisfaction or disappointment. But what's the real issue behind what's being said? Oftentimes in the church world, I have found that I said something or did something that poked a wound from a previous pastor, and they're hurt, wounded, and offended, not because of specifically what I said or didn't say or did do or didn't do, but it poked a feeling, and now they're putting all of those feelings on me, and he must be that way, he must think that way, he must function in that way. And so they're seeking clarity. And so we seek the real issue. And then it's the importance of offering that empathy, the very thing I'm talking about. Empathy is crucial, and I'll share with you how to do that. So what are the practical steps? I'm going to give them to you 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the practical steps for responding to complaints in real time? Someone is talking to you, whether that's real-time email, text, whatever that is. Number 1, listen carefully and empathize. Be fully present. If I'm in the lobby and somebody says, Pastor, can I talk to you? Sure, I need to talk to you. I will position them to where I'm not behind them is not a crowd of people that are trying to capture my attention. I will actually turn and position them so that when I'm looking at them, there's a blank wall behind them. And so that my eye is not being distracted. But we want to be fully present, give eye contact, give them our undivided attention. We want to listen to understand, and we're not listening to just respond. So avoid immediately formulating a response or defense. Listen to fully grasp their perspective. And then we want to empathize. Empathize with them by expressing genuine concern and acknowledging their feelings. This step helps to build that rapport and reassures that congregant, that member, that they are valued and that they are being heard. Step number 2 is acknowledge and validate the concern. And the way we do this is repeating back what you heard. Paraphrase their complaint to show that you're genuinely listening. So you're feeling that your feedback wasn't valued during that last meeting, that you felt that we just skipped over that. And yes, that is what it is. And then we acknowledge their feelings. A simple, I understand that is frustrating to you. And those simple words can go a long way in diffusing the tension. And then show that you're taking it seriously. Convey respect and appreciation for their courage in coming forward. Often dissatisfaction just needs to be acknowledged, and that begins to, quote, cut the red wire or diffuse the spark. When I get an email, a complaint email, the opening line of my email is, Dear John, thank you so much for writing to me. That means a lot to me. Thank you for expressing your concerns and the things that troubled you. I want to hear what you're saying and acknowledge what is being said. This feels like this is the main point. This is the main, I'm recounting back to them their own words from below. I'm copying and pasting sometimes. I really hear the core is, and I'll copy and paste the 2 sentences and communicating to them, which leads us then to step number 3, when it's needed, investigate the issue. So I'm talking to somebody in the lobby. I'm going to begin to ask clarifying questions. I'm going to gather the details without making assumptions. Questions like, well, can you share more about what happened? Can you give me a little more insight on what you said happened there when you dropped your son or daughter off? And then we're going to seek to understand any background information. We want to know if there's any history or prior experience that may be impacting their perspective. And this can help us address the root causes effectively. Step number 4 is huge. Horst Schulze says in his book, somebody comes to the front desk and is complaining about their room service and the maintenance of their room, that the room hasn't been made. The lady at the front desk, she doesn't work in maintenance. She doesn't work as one of the individuals that changes sheets and does the laundry, but he has coached his people that step number 4 is apologize sincerely. I'm working the front desk. I am so sorry your room is not clean. I am so sorry that we did not get your room clean. You're incorporating. So we challenge our people that are working our connection counter. I am so sorry that our website didn't work and get you registered for that event. I'm sorry that you had trouble. We're going to look into that. We're going to fix that. Thank you for letting us know. This step right here, offering a sincere apology, regardless of the circumstances, can often go a long way in absolutely diffusing a church member, or as we would call them, a customer's frustration. Think about your frustration in a restaurant that you've been trying to get your drinks refilled, you're out of water, you've eaten hot salsa, you don't have a soft drink, water, whatever it is to drink, you're frying, you're dying here. And when someone comes over and gives a genuine apology, a sincere apology, all of a sudden my anger went from a 6 to a 2. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't realize that you had that situation over there. Wow, I thank you so much. And then we want to be honest and transparent in that sincere apology. If there is a genuine mistake, we take responsibility. If we need more time, we let them know that, let me investigate this. Can I get back with you? I am so sorry this happened. I'm going to go do some homework on this and investigate further. And then step number 5 would be to offer practical solutions. This would be ask how they would like the issue to be resolved. Is there anything that we could do that would make this right? People often, once again, just want acknowledgement, but giving them a chance to share their solution can make them feel empowered. And so we're going to propose in this step, next steps. We're going to allow to outline any steps that we're committing to for addressing their complaint. Even if the solution is not immediate, knowing that there's a plan in place can once again ease their frustrations. And we let them know, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to talk to this person. We're going to see what we can do here. And number 6 is follow up. Check in after the resolution has been made. Follow up with a phone call, a text, an email. See if they feel the issue's been handled well. This is just a gesture that shows that we care and that we're committed, and then it encourages future feedback. It expresses gratitude for their input, and we let them know that you value that open communication. Now, here are the 6 steps that we need to follow. Here are some wisdom pieces I want to add in here. My staff and I defend one another publicly and work out our differences privately. People will try and people will come to me and they're talking about one of my staff members, or they're going to a staff member and they're talking about me. We take the approach of we defend one another publicly. I'm sure that's not what they meant. I'm sorry that happened. I can lean into that. But right in line with that, that's in the same vein is, I won't allow people to backdoor my staff members. Because often, if I can get to the head guy, the head cheese, then maybe if I can get to the senior pastor. And a lot of times, I don't even know what's going on. I'm completely unaware of what needs to happen, has happened, or needs to happen in making that area of ministry function. But often people think if they get to you, the senior leader, their problems will be solved. Well, if they have a problem with one of my staff, I will specifically say to them, have you expressed this concern with, and I'll name the staff employee? Yes, and they did nothing about it. Now that's where I do get defensive, that I'm not going to allow you to backdoor my staff. One woman came to me and she came to me in the lobby and she said, Pastor, I've been trying to get some financial assistance. Excuse me. I've been trying to get financial assistance, and Susie won't even talk to me. Now, I know Susie. She's my outreach director. She's got a heart of gold. She's as nice can be. And what she was doing was trying to make Susie the villain so that I would pick up the offense and I would defend her in the situation. But I'm not going to let you backdoor my staff. I said, ma'am, there's 2 issues going on here. One issue is that your request for financial assistance. But there's a second issue. You're defaming one of my staff members. I know Susie personally. She has worked for me for X amount of time. I know Susie's character, and what you are saying is not true. You're saying she's avoided you in the lobby. Let's go talk to her. and I will steer that situation back. Let's go talk together. But oftentimes they come and they say, hey, I don't understand about this in the youth ministry, and why aren't they allowing kids to bring this to camp? Ma'am, I'm sorry you're frustrated, and I'm sorry that your teenager is frustrated, but I need to steer you back to Pastor Sean. That is his area of expertise, and I do not know anything about that area, but I am sure he has a good reason for not allowing students to bring whatever that is to winter camp. Does that make sense? And so I just want to encourage you to handle complaints with grace, handle them with love, smother them with love, smother them with grace, be empathetic, have hearing ears. And I have found that by apologizing, it just calms the water and makes things well. And then something, pastors, I would encourage you to do is use your situations to teach, coach, and train your staff on how you handle those things. Just in last month in November, I received an email from a staff member expressing concerns and some questions and was challenging me on some things. And so after I sent that email response back to him, I then CC'd my pastoral staff and I said, I want you to see how I handled the situation with the election. It was some concerns with the election. I want you to see how I address their concerns, because now it's teaching my staff, if I have a complaint come up about how our stance as a church concerning politics and how we function and operate in that political arena, they now know how to speak and to convey what my heart is as the leader of the church and the direction that we are going as a church. So, hey, I want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas. I know it can be a very busy, busy time of the year. Please remember to take some time for you and make some special time for your spouse and for your children and grandchildren, because they deserve your undivided attention more than anyone else on the planet. And so much love to you. I pray that as you prepare, plan, and pray for the new year, that God gives you here in these next few weeks keen wisdom, insight, knowledge, and understanding as you plan for 2025. God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for joining us today. For a free sermon series and teaching outlines by Pastor Dean, visit us at deanhawk.com. Be sure and join us next month as we continue our growth on leadership.